Hello and welcome to Agrestal Vestige, where we are vested in all things Agrestal. My name is Tom. I'm here with you again this week to cover another blended Scotch whiskey. This time we have rather a nice one for you. It's Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition, and it's bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. And for those of you who know Cutty Sark, the traditional average Cutty Sark, this isn't quite the same thing. Nor is it the same thing really as the 12-year-old Cutty Sark, which I reviewed several months ago now, which was quite a nice whiskey. This one, such as the 12, also comes corked. And alright, Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition was sort of trying to emulate the traditional flavor of Cutty Sark whiskey back when Bill McCoy was smuggling it into this country. And he was known for having real good quality rum and whiskeys, and that's where the term the real McCoy come from, was from Bill importing it in. He used to park, I think it was about 3 miles out in the ocean, and they'd send the boats out to pick up the contraband spirits and bring it in, smuggle it in. Actually, Cutty Sark was one of the most commonly drank whiskeys during Prohibition Edition because they could actually get it. Anyway, this, you rarely see a blended Scotch whiskey bottled at this high strength. So let's see what we've got here. It's got a nice color, not that you can go by that necessarily. Appears slightly oily. Thin legs, but it's got them. Okay, what do we have on the nose? It's a lovely, rich vanilla. That's the first thing that hits you in toffee. You've got raisins, sultanas, the dark fruits. That's very evident on the nose. A hint of oak spice. A hint of black pepper. There's just a touch, a hint of smokiness, but it's a non-peated whiskey. And a touch of citrus zest. It seems like it's coming through there. I mean, it's a very complex whiskey on the nose for a blend. You know, blends are most of the time somewhat one-dimensional, but this one it's got a full array of flavors on the nose anyway. What about the taste? Creamy, silky. It's a nice mouthfeel. That vanilla comes through again. This time instead of the toffee, it's like a rich, thick caramel. Butterscotch. There are some spice notes in there, like nutmeg. There's the black pepper in there as well still. It's a lot more robust in the palate than it was on the nose. You can definitely tell there's a hint of sherry influence in here. I don't know if it was matured exclusively in sherry cask. I don't know. It doesn't have an age statement, so but it may have been in ex-bourbon barrels and then finished in sherry. I'm not exactly sure because they don't declare that on the website or in any research that I've had. But it's a very full and robust whiskey. You've got definitely notes of dark chocolate there. Rich, bitter, dark chocolate. It's lovely, actually. And there's again, that nice mouth coating. And the finish, surprisingly enough, is quite long. It's warming, it's spicy. You got lingering vanilla, the lingering notes of oak, barley malt. Again, that slight pepperiness on the finish. Wood spice. That's quite an interesting and long finish for a blend. Let's add some water to this. I'm not going to add too much. Let's add 3 milliliters. It'll take it. And just swirl that around a little bit. Get it mixed up in there. But really, I mean, for the price of this bottle, which was only around 50 to 60 pounds dollars, depending on where you're at, euros. It, from my experience, and this is about the third dram I've had of this whiskey, it competes with and actually surpasses a lot of single malts. It truly does. You can't really tell the grain whiskey in here. It's not very ethanol-y. You don't have that fiery type aspect to the whiskey, which mainly comes from, rushing the stills and burning them too hot. I think this was primarily finished in American oak barrels. Matured in American oak barrels and probably finished for a year in ex-sherry cask. It's quite lovely, actually. And for a blend, you can't really beat it. All right, with the water, let's see if the water changed anything. The water softened the intensity of the caramel and vanilla. And it actually brings forward a much stronger fruity element to it. The spice aspect of it is also down a bit. It's a little bit more withdrawn than before the water. The malt has come forward. There's a distinct maltiness to it that wasn't there before the water. It's still rich and complex and it's lovely, really. So how is it on the palate? Yeah, the water does mellow down the richness of the vanilla and the caramel. And it separates the flavors a little bit more. So you've got more defined this and more defined that. More, you can, instead of being so robust, you can, that's a nice distinctive vanilla. Oh, that's a rich caramel and so on. The fruit notes that I mentioned, they're actually more pronounced, and the spices take a back seat to the fruit notes. It's like your dark stone fruits, your prunes, as well as your dates, your figs. It's wintertime whiskey. The spiciness of it, as I said, it's pulled back and the fruit notes go forward, so the spiciness of it's a bit muted and gentler, but it's just definitely still there. And let's see. Always somebody calling on the telephone. It'll stop ringing in a moment. So, all right, after the water, these things happen, gentlemen and ladies. That's the bane of modern society, is those flaming phones. I hate them. Anyway, now, after the water, the finish is slightly shorter. The spice becomes softer, and the lingering vanilla note, the sweetness and the fruitiness is also a little shorter. The hints of black pepper and like wood spice, it's a little bit more enhanced on the finish. The finish, it's still long, but it's shorter than it was, you know, than before the water. However, I think water does bring out a lot of benefit in this whiskey because the greater array of fruit notes that's brought forward, as well as you still have all the other, but they're almost complementary or auxiliary to those fruit notes. I mean, this is quite a lovely dram, and I think, as I've said before, it would compete and excel many lower end sanitized single malts that are out there now, that's heavily colored and heavily, you know, chill filtered and so on. I do not think this is colored, and I don't taste any of that. I don't taste any of that E150A bitterness and just weird note that you typically get with that. As far as chill filtration, it may have been filtered, but I don't know if the chill part was put on, because this is a distinctively oily, creamy mouthfeel, and a lot of times that's stripped away with the chill filtration. But I mean, all in all, it is a lovely whiskey, and if I had to give this marks out of 100 for a blend, this is just a blended grade, but for a blend, because of the complexity of the flavors that are in there and the maturation and everything, I'd have to give this a 91, 92. I'd say a 91 out of 100. And that's a really high blend mark. Non-peated. So the other blends that have gotten that type of mark, I think for me, have been the peated one, but this is a completely non-peated one. I'm happy to give it that mark. And if you can find it, it's not that easy to come by, but if you can find it and you like the type flavor profile I described to you, then go out and buy a bottle. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Remember to like, subscribe, and all that. And until next time, this is Tom.